Hey everybody, D-Mark here. Welcome to Rocket Jockey. This is a game that I used to play pretty much as a kid. Game originally released back in 1996 with a multiplayer patch shortly released after there in early 97. Game is developed by Rocket Science Games, published by Sega Soft, a small division of Sega Corporation, Sonic, etc. They did various PC games back in the day, such as Obsidian. If you guys remember old point-and-click adventure games, that was also one of my favorites. Anyway, Rocket Jockey here. I'm very excited to play. I'm not a big quote-unquote sports game person, and that's kind of what this game is categorized as. But it's nothing like a sports game you've ever seen before. If you have seen this, you're awesome, and you probably know what I'm talking about, and you love it. Anyway, this game, we'll just start right here. So we'll go with the characters. You start off with kind of this alternate 1930s, almost steampunkish reality clothing style as well, and you get to choose your characters. So we've got Buster Butox, El Muerte, Ace Bandage, Boomer Brockman, Demolition Donna Dombrowski, Mimi and Fuego, and then back to Buster again. I'm just gonna do this random. Okay, Buster it is. So once you got your character, continue on here. So these are the sleds, as the game refers to them as. You're effectively a guy sitting on top of a rocket. Think of a rocket, a flying rocket motorcycle is pretty much what these things are. So to start the game, you have a very limited selection of sleds to choose from. I think this is your very first one. You can skip up to this guy here, that guy, and I think that might be the farthest you can go. There's a couple others that have been unlocked through my gameplay here, but we'll get to the unlockables here in a moment. So I'm just going to start here with the beginning, and let's head to the arena. So there are several different types of gameplay here. Again, sports game genre, so you've got a typical race game, make it through the pylons and beat your other opponent to the finish line. Pretty simple. Ball, think of it similar to soccer or football, depending on your nationality. Get the ball into the goal, score more points than your opponent. War is what a lot of people prefer in this game. There's no goals, there's no race. It's just you against the other opponent, trying to kill them in any and all means possible. It's brutally fun. Every one of these is fun, and I love them all. But war is what most people tend to remember about this game. For the purposes of this first intro video, I'm actually going to choose race, because the first course has no time limit. That'll allow me to explain controls and how the game plays. So once you choose your type, you have this little clipboard here that kind of displays the available courses for you to choose from. Right out of the gate, there's only one to choose, because it's your tutorial. Once you do that, you can then move on to further ones. So, gate navigation tip: to fly to each gate. I can't speak. Fly to each flashing gate. If a gate has two pylons, fly between them. If a gate only has one, grab it with a cable. So we'll get to the cables here. So you hit start. So we need a qualifying time of 3 minutes to finish this properly. We're not even going to bother with that, though. Alright, so here we are. We've got our rocket sled, and immediately you can't do anything. Oh yeah, those. So yeah, pushing buttons doesn't really do anything, up, down, left, right. You're just sitting stationary on the ground. So the very first thing you need to do is push shift to go. The controls can be customized. I currently have it mounted to shift, so that's what I've got. You can hold shift to go faster. Left and right turn. As you can see, your turning radius kind of sucks. You're literally sitting on top of a rocket with no real means of turning. You can press up and down to kind of change your vertical position. It's a very small distance that you can travel both up and down, but that's how you kind of move around. So, due to the fact that you are literally strapped onto a rocket and you don't have much means of turning, the game's prime mechanic, as you kind of saw me push the buttons earlier, is you have the capability of shooting 2 different cables out of your rocket at a 45-degree angle, kind of 45 degrees in front of you, in either direction, left and right. And using those cables, you can attach to things like these pylons that you see, and use it for quick turns. Of course, I still run into things. And of course, the longer your cable is, the wider an arc you get. Smaller cable, smaller arc. And so that's the prime navigation mechanic in this game. Cables are used for much more other than just turning. But you kind of have to get a feel for how the cables work, where you're going to turn, to make sure you don't have too long a cable to smash into the wall, which you will do, and you will do it often. So, as you saw at the beginning, again, there's no pylons for me to turn, so I just have to hit the wall and keep on going. As you see on the bottom in our little HUD there, we've got a health gauge, which is my personal player's health, and then we have a temperature gauge, which kind of acts as your sled's health bar. It's kind of in a reverse order than you would normally use. So the higher the temperature, the closer your rocket is to blowing up. I'm going to see if I can just kind of spike it for us here. You gotta love the sound effects in this game, they're amazing. Okay, so my rocket's... Good job, buddy. Oh, wow. Glitches, hooray. Okay, so I'll leave my rocket on the ground for now. So you saw, it takes some doing to fully beat it up and actually kill it. But once you're on the ground, you're on foot like this, navigating on foot is a pain in the butt. You can go forward, pressing down jumps straight up in the air. You can kind of slowly turn to the right, or you can stop in place and kind of turn on a dime. That's really it. Oh, and space allows you to dive, and you will find yourself on foot, you will find yourself diving very often, because again, once you get knocked off your rocket, other players come wanting you. So you run to your rocket, or another player's rocket, we'll get to that. Once you get there, you hop on board, you just kind of attach to it automatically. Once again, hit shift or whatever your acceleration button is to get started, and keep on going. So one thing that you can do is you can kind of change the camera angle. I find it very disorienting, so I almost never ever use that. Your gameplay may vary, so it might work out best for you. So there's kind of the prime gameplay of the game. One thing I wanted to talk about here is that this game, again, being released back in 96, 97, obviously it's shown some age. Graphics here are, of course, not the prettiest compared to things that you may have seen, or might be mainstream nowadays, of course. But back in the day, they were pretty kick-ass. The game was actually originally being developed for the original PlayStation 1, but due to extreme graphics limitations and demands, they were forced to seek the PC route, which I suppose was a good and bad thing. It's good because the game handled great even on a not-so-high-end machine, I think. It's been a long time. But this Windows 95 era game, and ran on just about any computer I played it on. But one of the bad things about having it on PC is that it kind of disappeared, unfortunately. I'm guessing the vast majority of you have never even heard or seen this game at all, which is a real shame because it is absolutely a gem. Yeah, this game is... I can't say enough good things about it. So anyway, because of its age and lack of visibility and kind of near abandonment by the developers, it's nigh impossible to get it to run on a modern machine. Currently, I have a Windows 8 computer. It's got an Intel 930 i7. I've got 12 gigs of RAM in here, a GTX 760. So I've got a decent computer, but running a modern operating system. And the only way I could get this to run is to run it through VMware, and I tossed a copy of XP onto the computer. Now, XP is not a supported operating system for this game. So, not only am I having to run a virtualized computer, I'm having to effectively hack the game to get it to work in an environment that it's not supposed to. So, for my own personal desire of wanting to preserve this game and allow people to play it and continue having fun with it, down in the description of this video I'm going to include several different links and detailed descriptions of registry hacks and actual hex editing of the Rocket Jockey executable file in order to get this to properly work on a Windows XP computer. Because again, this game, it needs to be seen more. There's actually been work by an indie developer called 6-Shooter Games to make a spiritual successor to this game called, God, I'm blanking on the name now, Rocket Jockey. There's been a few attempts in the past to make a remake, but all of them have fell short. But Rocket Jockey seems to have made some serious headway. They're actually using Unreal Engine, so the game looks great. There's a few videos out there online. The downside is that 6-Shooter Games has effectively disappeared. Their website, 6shootergames.com and sprocketjunkie.com, I think that's what it is. I'll post the full links in the description here. They're valid sites, but there's absolutely nothing on the page. You go to the web page and it's a blank, just white page, nothing there. The internet traffic about the game has been next to nothing. At one point there was an alpha and a beta released for Rocket Jockey. I think I played the alpha at one point, which was really just, you're on a sled, you're in an area, there's pylons, you can move. That was really it. There was no game mechanics, no multiplayer, no enemies or anything. Pretty much what we're doing right here without the actual racing mechanic. As you can see there, my temperature kind of spiked and I'm smoking now, so... Anyway, the reason I mentioned 6-Shooter Games is that, guys, if you're out there, there are still people who want to play this. Myself and I know several of my friends included would absolutely love for you to finish working on that. I can only assume that for whatever reason production has halted. I don't know, but due to the lack of news and the lack of your website really existing, that's all that anybody can assume at this point. So if you're watching this, please, 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 if there's anything myself or anybody else can do to help get that game going. I know you guys had a Kickstarter for iPad originally, which failed, which was very unfortunate. But if there's anything that we can do to help you guys get going, please let us know, and I'll do everything that I can to do that here with you. Anyway, everybody, so as you saw, the kind of goal of racing is to make your way through the highlighted pylons. Again, if there's only one pylon, you grapple onto that one and swing around, and eventually you make your loop around the track, or loops, depending on the level that you're playing, and finish that up. So that's racing. Once you're done, if you lose, you usually get this screen. Yes, I want more, or no, I'm scared. I'm going to try it again, and I'm just going to breeze through this here real quick, show you once again kind of deliberately what I'm trying to do, and then we can move on to the next course. So as you can see, it's even with the grappling hooks, it's difficult to control.
And the winner is Buster Butox.
There we go, nice and simple. So, one thing I want you guys to do, I will post a link at the bottom of this video, as well as in the description here. This game's soundtrack is awesome. It's great. So, there's a guitar artist by the name of Dick Dale, who you might recognize his kind of surf rock music from, say, Pulp Fiction. One of his prime songs is right there in that movie. Miserlou is what it's called. Miserlou by Dick Dale. Anyway, they were able to get Dick Dale to do the soundtrack for this game, and it's awesome. But unfortunately, due to the various YouTube content ID scans and things of that sort, I chose to forego having that in my videos. Instead, I'm going to post a link to another user, CubaLibre. He's a cool guy. Head to his channel. He's got the entire soundtrack listed in various videos, and play that in the background while you're watching these videos, just so you get a full feel of what the game would be like if you're playing there. That's actually another reason why I'm not playing it, is due to the various hacks that I've had to go through on this game to get it to run in the fashion that I did. It just doesn't play audio. The original game's audio track, or audio soundtrack, was actually regular audio tracks on the CD. So if you took that CD and tossed it in your CD player, in your car or home or wherever, you would skip to track 2, because track 1 would be the data track. Skip to track 2, and you have a whole CD's worth of soundtracks in this beach bum rock music, which is awesome. So again, head to CubaLibre's videos. Take a look at his videos as well. He's got some pretty cool stuff out there. Yeah, listen to that while you're watching these. So let's jump into War. So again, you saw kind of the beginnings of Race there, just kind of what the gameplay mechanic is. We'll jump into War. I'm going to skip all the way back to the beginning, do our tutorial. String up skills. Cable the rider, and with the other cable, grab a pylon. Join the cables together. Joining the cables is a very integral part of how this game works. So I'll show you how. So we're going to start this. Most courses, as you see here, have a time limit, as opposed to a time duration that you need to meet to beat it. So this one is 3 minutes. Come on. There we go. Alright, so you see the little guy standing there on the ground. So he is my opponent. Looks like he has no AI in this training course. So he's just going to sit there waiting for me to do all kinds of unspeakable horror to him. So, anyway, in that beginning little text thing, it said to grab the pylon, shoot another pylon. As you see, I've got both of these attached to 2 separate pylons. You see, they do break eventually. But you can press the S key, and as you saw there, it joined the cables. Joining the cables is both good and bad, because it can be bad when you run into your own tripwire. That being said, it's also good if you trip up your own opponents. So not only can you make tripwires, but you can say, grab that rider down there, grab him with one tether, grab a pylon or a rocket sled in motion with another one, and join them together. And he'll either be stuck to the pylon or stuck to a moving rocket and be flailing around like nobody's business. So And it's great because you get crowd reactions, and you get points based on the type... Oh, and I grabbed his underwear. And I tied it to a pole. But yeah, so you get points based on the type of damage that you do to the opponent. I don't know if anybody remembers the game Carmageddon, but it's around this same era that it came out. And Carmageddon, you just drove around and you got extra like splatter bonuses for hitting people in the crowd and that are on the street. Yeah, it was it was pretty brutal. Anyway, as you can kind of see, the physics in this game are such that, again, they swing around in a semi-realistic manner and use kind of centrifugal force to swing further out like that. See, I just tied his... He's wearing 2 pairs of boxers, I guess. But the physics mechanics plays a very large role in this game.
And the winner is Buster Butox.
So I instantaneously won there because what I did is if all riders are tied up, tied to a pylon or something else, that wins the game for you. So you see right here, it clips out immediately because the instant I hit that connect button, that's what triggers the game to finish. So yeah, we'll get more into the mechanics at this point, because we're going to do Rocket Ball. Rocket Ball, you have to be very precise in the way in which you handle your tethered objects. So again, we're just going to go to our training course. Learn to score. Cable the ball and drag it towards the goal. Before hitting the goal, turn to one side and let go of the ball. Pretty simple, but can be much more difficult than you might imagine.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play. Today's contest is sponsored by Brian and Andy's Engine Work 3.
So you can kind of hear the announcer cutting out intermittently. It's because the game seems to be running a tad bit faster than it used to. So, anyway, you see the ball kind of popped out of the hole there, and I grabbed it with one of my tethers. And, see, I didn't let go that time, but the momentum of the ball attached to my tether still made it into the goal. But as you see right there, I kind of had to slingshot the ball around in order to get it to go into the goal. Now, as you can see right there, I kind of shot 2 cables that ended up being in the same direction. And at times it can be difficult to remember which cable is which. See, I just shot it again with the same cable, and you see it kind of change colors. So color is actually an important part, remembering which cable you have attached. So right now, I know I have the left cable attached, because it's brown. The right cable is red, so R for red, R for right. It's kind of the easiest way I remember to remember which cable I've got. But yeah, things can easily get messed up, and you're not quite sure which cable you have, so you might accidentally let go of the opponent or let go of the ball on accident. So be sure to pay attention to which cable you have. Yeah, see, the balls themselves can knock into you and hurt you. You see, I missed that one. It must have hit the side of the goalpost there. So I'm going to try to do 2 at once. Oh, I got 1. That's not bad. But yeah, you can kind of see, you can grab the ball and kind of rock your rocket around in a slingshotty fashion. And a lot of the time you can't even see what's going on.
Advancing to the next round.
There we go.
Buster Butox.
So, that's racing. One more thing I wanted to talk about before I let you guys go is, again, in the description of this video, I'm going to post detailed instructions that I found through a Facebook page. I'll post that link as well. The Facebook page is kind of a community group of Rocket Jockey fans. Somebody, I don't know who, so all credit to that person who found this out. Somebody discovered that if you do hex editing of the executable, which is necessary to kind of make it so it doesn't require the CD to play, which actually allows the game to run on XP. First, to do that, but secondly, you can change a series of hex codes in the game to actually change the resolution of the game for larger monitors. The game's default resolution is 640 by 480. That's actually what I'm playing in it right now. The video that you see is 16 by 9. I just added little kind of markers on the side to kind of fill up the YouTube video just because I wanted to. But anyway, it's 640 by 480 by default. The instructions that I'll provide will tell you how to edit your own executable file and change the resolution. Now keep a note, if you do so, there are certain times, depending on your monitor, depending on your desktop's resolution, that the GUI elements of the game will be out of place, so you'll hover over where you think you need to click, and the actual click interface is down and to the right 100 pixels or something like that. So take the XC editing with a grain of salt. You can do it, and it does work. I have a 1024 by 768 one that works great on my computer, which, by the way, I'm running in windowed mode because I have not found a way to do full screen without those graphical glitches that I mentioned. So I'm sitting here in a tiny 640 by 480 window playing this game for you guys because I love it that much. Anyway, at the end of this video, I'm going to have a screen that looks just like this. It's going to have all three sections opened up here. Go ahead and click on one of those if you want to follow my recording path down the Rocket Ball course, down the Rocket War course, and the Rocket Racing course. I'm just going to go through every single level, power through those, and get effectively the entire game posted online. I want people to see this game. I want it to come back so bad. So please like and subscribe this, and please share this around, because people need to know about this game, and people need to play it and or remake it. Cough, 6-shooter games, cough. Please, guys, help us out. Alright, take it easy, guys. Thanks again for watching, and yeah, have a good one.